Welcome to episode 26 of KinFit. I'm Michael.
I'm Tiffany, and today we're actually across the street from the Canadian Centre for Architecture, so I believe this is actually their garden.
Yeah, there's a bunch of funky statues on pillars in the background. You can check those out. And we're actually in part of a building, well, not really a building, but if you stand in front of it, it actually looks identical to the museum across the street.
Very interesting indeed. But let's get on to Fit News. So right before we get to Fit News, I just want to mention that we're sitting on the copy windowsill of the copy building of the one across the street from us, which is actually the real Canadian Centre for Architecture.
So yeah, we're pretty high off the ground too.
Yeah, so try not to fall off.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. So what's going on this week?
Well, finally, the Montreal Nike Running Lounge has opened. They opened last week on July 4th, so happy Independence Day for all those American viewers.
Yes. I actually passed by, but it was on the day that they were closed, which is Fridays.
Yeah, so they're open every day but Friday. On weekdays, they're open from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And on weekends, they open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Yeah,
so we'll definitely try to pass by one day when it's actually open to see how it's being run. But what's really interesting is that it's actually a bus.
Yeah, you can actually check it out at the NikeRunning.ca site. You'll see it like, a drawing or a computer-generated image of it. You don't see an actual picture, but it's a hauled-out bus with a porch and a canopy.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's not an actual building. It's like I wonder if it's mobile.
That would be cool.
A mobile Nike Running Lounge.
If they would just drive around Montreal.
Yeah, like MASH. You know, like those emergency army medical units, they move around.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but definitely we'll try to check it out when it's open, and we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, and definitely check out there's also a Nike Running Lounge blog for all those Canadians that are signed up or do running and go to the Nike Running Lounge. Mm-hmm. And yeah, moving on, we'd like to thank Catherine Stewart from Gatorade Canada for sending us an email. She sent us a nice little news blog about J.S. Giguère of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks that just won the Stanley Cup in the NHL. And basically, it talked about how J.S. Giguère had some hydration issues and performance issues before the start of the season, and he visited Gatorade to do some fitness tests and some hydration tests, and well, he ended up winning the Stanley Cup, so apparently something was done right. So definitely go check it out, and we'll have it in our show notes. Excellent.
Now on a different note as well, the Calgary Stampede has decided to stamp out trans fats. I thought that was very clever. It caught my attention. But the Stampede right now is actually going on right until July 15th or so. And the food manager there actually spent about 6 months testing and studying different cooking oils. And now all the vendors are now using canola oil. So no more trans fats, which is really good because there's a lot of fast food that goes on at the Stampede.
So it's kind of like that New York City-wide ban on trans fats.
Yeah, and I believe Calgary is actually working on doing something very similar, but definitely a really big step because the Stampede is a huge tourist attraction now. A lot of people go there, so yay, I'm very pleased. Now, and on something completely different again, more studies have shown that older adults who are cognitively active have 2.6 times less chance of developing Alzheimer's. Okay, so stuff like reading, doing puzzles.
Sudoku?
Yes, that would count. Stuff like that, keeping the brain very active, helps decrease chances of developing Alzheimer's. So I would say keep being cognitively active.
Go build a puzzle.
Yeah, definitely go build a puzzle. What are you going to build?
I'm going to build some Lego.
Building Lego, building pathways in the brain. We're in a center for architecture. Goes with the theme. But anyways, the main point is use your brain. Don't stop using it. There you go. And what else do you have for us?
Last but not least, there was a study done. Well, we already know that dark chocolate will help lower blood pressure, but this new study showed that all you really need is something the size of a Hershey Kisses.
Yeah, so not a lot at all.
Yeah,
so
well,
moderation.
the study says don't go and overload on Hershey Kisses.
The dark kind.
Yeah, but all you really need is like something the size of a Hershey Kisses, once a day, and it'll help lower blood pressure.
You see, moderation is key all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so I believe that is it for Fit News this week.
On this week's Fit Tip, we're going to talk about ways to maximize your workout and to minimize the time spent in the gym. Because, of course, not all of us want to spend the entire day in the gym when it's nice and sunny outside. Generally, when we work out, I usually recommend that you have about 6 to 8 exercises and to basically not stay longer than 45 minutes in the gym. Now, if you're able to work out at least 3 to 4 times per week, you can generally split up your workout into upper body and lower body. So you would have one day upper body, which is like core, arms, chest, and for another day, it can be lower back and legs. Now, if you work out 4 times a week, you can do this on back-to-back days, like Monday, Tuesday, have Wednesday a break, and then you can start over again on Thursday, Friday. If you only have time to work out, let's say 2 to 3 times a week, then you might want to do a whole body workout. Now, same thing, you might only want to have 6 to 8 exercises. But if you're going to have breaks in between each set and each exercise, it might take a little bit more than 45 minutes. So what I usually generally recommend is you superset your exercises. So what you can do by supersetting is basically you do one exercise, let's say bench press, and then right away without taking a break, you go into another set for another exercise, let's say squats. So you do one set of bench press, right away one set of squat, take your 2-minute rest, and then you do it all over. So basically you save a lot of time on rest, especially if you're doing at least 3 to 4 sets per exercise. And these are 2 things you can try out, and give them a try, and we'll see you next time.
So for today's In Foodmation, we're going to talk about frozen desserts, just because it's apparently the hot summer months. It's not very hot, but it is a beautiful day, so that's quite all right with me. So the first I want to just clear up all the confusion, because there are so many different types out there. So the first I want to mention was sorbet. Actually, it is made from basically a fruit puree and ice mixed together into a refreshing treat. So usually, because it's just made with a fruit puree, there's not much fat in it, so usually about 0% fat in there. So very good when it's really hot and you're thirsty and want something tasty. Along those lines of no fat though, frozen yogurt is also no fat. It's made with yogurt, and it's of course whipped into air and all that stuff. So it's a different consistency from the sorbet, but once again it's no fat. You'll find that the sorbet actually is very dense and heavy because there is not much air whipped into it. It's really just mixed with the ice. Alright, the next one would be sherbet. Very similar to sorbet, but not the same. So I know this is going to throw a lot of you off. But it is made with a fruit puree once again. However, there is milk and eggs added to it. So because of that, you're going to have a little bit of a higher fat content, about 1 to 2%. So, and if you are vegan, you'd probably won't choose the sherbet because of the milk and the eggs, but the sorbet instead. All right, so there's the big difference. I know this is going to scare a lot of you, the difference between the two. The next one, which is kind of fun as well, soft serve ice cream. The milk fat in there is about 3 to 6%. So actually a lot lower than I originally thought, because it's very creamy and light, but it's mostly because of the air. There's a lot more air whipped into soft serve ice cream. And it's also served at a little bit of a warmer temperature so that your taste buds can detect taste a little bit better. So I thought that was really interesting. And the next one would be gelato, which is an Italian style ice cream. It's a little bit softer, not quite as soft as soft serve though. It's about 7 to 8% milk fat, and you'll find that a lot of parlors will make their own homemade gelato. So that's really nice if you have your spot and you'll have your special gelato that you'll always have. So that's kind of fun. And of course, last but not least, is ice cream. Now, to be actually called ice cream, you have to have a minimum of 10% milk fat. And if you're a gourmet ice cream, that even goes up a little bit higher to about 12%. So you'll see there's actually a difference between the two. Now, if you were to actually weigh the two, gourmet ice creams will weigh a little bit more because they actually have less air whipped into it and more of the quality products, which probably accounts for a little bit of the price difference as well. So there you have all your differences. You have the sorbet, which is just made with the fruit, the frozen yogurt, which has no fat, the sherbet, fruit and milk and eggs, the soft serve ice cream all the way up until the ice cream made with mostly dairy products and with the milk fat going up a little bit. And there you go. Now you can make your choices between all your frozen desserts for the coming summer. All right, so I hope you have fun with that.
So this wraps up another episode of KinFit.
I don't know if you noticed, but we're standing right now in front of the half-copy building of the real Center for Architecture, and it actually reminds me of a lot of a giant sandcastle.
Okay there.
Well, I thought it did. Anyways, please check back our show notes for all those important bits of information we want you to find out about.
And if you have any ideas, suggestions, or questions you want to send us, just email them to us at info@kinfit.tv.
huge thank you goes once again to our cameraman Timmy and our production assistant Amanda.
So remember, don't quit.
Stay fit. This week.
Finally, the Mikey Nike. The Mike. What? What did I say?
The Mikey Nike.
Oh, that's it. Whoops.